Welcome to the Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're looking at a brand new feature in the Dynamics 365 Business Central 2026 Release Wave 1, also known as BC28. And let me tell you, this is going to completely transform how accountants and controllers manage posting periods. If you're tired of all that administrative busy work, you are going to love what Microsoft is rolling out here. To truly appreciate this update, let's step into your shoes during a typical month-end workload. You know the drill. Business Central doesn't force you to formally close periods, but you've still got a massive checklist to power through. You're making general ledger adjustments, ensuring all sales orders and cash receipts are posted, running aged accounts payable, getting depreciation posted for fixed assets, sorting out intercompany transactions. Your plate is completely full. Okay, let's dive into this. With all of those critical tasks demanding your attention, are you still manually updating your posting periods every single month? I mean, think about it. Going into the general ledger setup or the user setup and manually typing in the new allow posting from and allow posting to dates just to stop someone from accidentally posting into a closed month? It's tedious, it's repetitive, and frankly, it's a chore you shouldn't have to deal with anymore. So today, we're going to solve this universal accounting pain point. Here's our agenda. 1. The month-end struggle. 2. Meet dynamic date formulas. 3. Real-world posting examples. 4. Role-specific user controls. And 5. Best practices for audits. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, the month-end struggle. There is a massive shift happening in BC28. On one hand, we've got the old way, fixed dates. For years, an administrator had to go in and set explicit boundaries, right? Literally typing out March 1st to March 31st, and then next month, do it all over again. But on the other hand, we now have this new paradigm, dynamic formulas. Instead of hard-coding the calendar, Business Central now calculates the allowed posting period automatically based on the user's workdate. It's totally maintenance-free period management. Moving on to Section 2, meet dynamic date formulas. So, what is this exactly? Business Central has introduced two new fields, allow posting from DateFormula and allow posting to DateFormula. Rather than hard-coding static dates, you input a formula using up to 20 characters, just a mix of numbers and letters. The system then takes this formula and actively evaluates it against the current workdate every single time a posting date is validated. Building these formulas is honestly like learning a really simple new language. You just use abbreviations for calendar units. C stands for current, D is for days, W is for weeks, and M is for months. So if you want to point to the end of the current month, you just type CM. Easy, right? If you want the start of the current month, you just add a minus sign to look backwards, minus CM. You can even combine them. It's an incredibly logical setup once you get the hang of it. Section 3, real-world posting examples. Let's look at a highly requested scenario for controllers, the rolling 30-day window. To make sure users can only post transactions within the last 30 days, you simply set the allow posting from formula to minus 30D and the allow posting to formula to 0D, which just represents the current workday. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how that window actively travels with you. As the workdate advances day by day, this entire 30-day timeline dynamically shifts forward. Think about that. You never have to log into the settings to advance the dates again. The system just automatically enforces that 30-day rule continuously all year round. And this brilliantly illustrates how we can get even more advanced with it. Let's say you want to lock in the current quarter. You just use minus CQ to CQ. Want to leave the previous month open while you're closing alongside the current month? Use minus CM minus 1M to CM. And for that classic previous month close scenario, you set the from date to minus 1M minus CM and the to date to minus CM minus 1D. It perfectly isolates that past month without any manual intervention whatsoever. Actually, before we move on, I need to emphasize an absolutely crucial technical detail. These formulas calculate based on the user's workdate, which, remember, they can change in their own My Settings page. They do not calculate based on the system's today date. This is really important to grasp. Because users can adjust their own workdate, these formulas are slightly less restrictive than the old fixed dates, where an admin set hard boundaries that no user could shift. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, Role-Specific User Controls. So the system follows a strict hierarchy of validation. When a user tries to post a transaction, Business Central checks the user setup page first. If there are rules there, they overrule everything else. If not, it falls back to the general ledger setup page, which applies to the whole company. Finally, it checks the general journal template. This means you can have broad, maintenance-free dynamic formulas for the whole company in the GL setup, but then set very specific, tighter constraints for individual clerks right in their user setup.
Let's wrap up with Section 5, Best Practices for Audits.
The documentation from Dynamics 365 Lab provides a genuinely brilliant strategy here. While you can't put a fixed date and a formula in the exact same field, you can mix and match the methods across the from and to boundaries. You don't have to choose exclusively between strict audit control and total automation. So, the crucial point is this hybrid setup. It's the ultimate best practice for secure audits. You set your allow posting from using a strict fixed date. This acts as a hard wall. Users absolutely cannot shift their workdate to post into a closed past period. But for your allow posting to boundary, you use a date formula like CM for current month. This gives you strict administrator control over your history while keeping the future completely dynamic and maintenance-free. It's literally the best of both worlds. And that wraps up our look at BC28's new date formula feature. It is such a massive quality of life upgrade for the finance department. So the real question is, are you ready to mix strict audit boundaries with maintenance-free formulas and finally say goodbye to manual date updates? I highly encourage you to go test out these formulas in your preview environments. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy posting!